What's up, everybody? Most people assume all steel buildings are created equal, but choosing the wrong frame for your Barndominium could be a catastrophic financial mistake. Is the DIY friendly nature of cold form steel enough to beat the industrial strength of red iron? Well, that was a question that was posed to me, so today we're going to be dissecting the engineering truth to see which structure actually secures your family's safety for a lifetime. Visually, these systems couldn't be more different. Cold form steel looks like a high-tech precision engineered erector set. It's clean, uniform, and compact. Red iron, however, has the massive welded presence, the kind of skeleton you'd see in a skyscraper, and that's basically the same engineering. In 2026, we're seeing a massive pivot away from wood. Why? Because durability standards are shifting. With the rising cost of insurance and the need for structures that can withstand a century of weather, wood just isn't cutting it anymore, folks. But before you buy, you need to understand that your load-bearing requirements will dictate your entire construction timeline. And more importantly, your budget. I have a bunch of people asking me, what is the difference between red iron and cold form steel? Well, when I was building my house, we use cold form steel, and I couldn't find many videos that would actually explain what the differences are, so I decided to do this video for you guys. So cold form steel is made through a light gauge roll forming process where thin sheets of steel are shaped at room temperature. That's why it's called cold formed. It's made with precision engineering. Every piece is laser cut and pre-punched in the factory. It is a bolt-on together assembly. There's really no heavy lifting involved. You don't need a 50-ton crane. Most of these components can be handled by a small crew or even a dedicated DIYer like yourself and me with a boom lift. You will also not need a certified welder on site. There is no welding on a cold form steel building. If you could read a blueprint and you could turn a wrench, you can theoretically fly this shell. The interior finish is also easy on the cold form. It's cold form's secret weapon. That's right. Cold form systems often use integrated screw flange systems. This means your drywall and installation crews aren't fighting the frame. They're screwing directly right into the cold form steel, which slashes your interior build-out time by a lot. Now, let's talk about the heavyweight champion, red iron. Yeah, this is heavy-duty I-beam composition. Red iron is the open concept dream. If you want a 60-foot wide living room with 0 columns, red iron is your only real choice. It enables massive clear spans that cold form steel simply can't reach. With red iron, you will need professional rigging and most likely a certified welder. You're going to need a crane on site and all that. So this is not a weekend project with the guys. This is industrial grade stuff. So with traditional construction techniques, with wood stick frame, we need to worry about, rotting wood, correct? Well, with steel, we need to worry about corrosion. Red iron gets its name from the shop-applied red oxide primer. That's where that dark red color comes from. It's just primer. It is tough, but remember that you're comparing that primer against the galvanized coatings found on cold form steel. Galvanization is a chemical bond that often wins the long-term rust war in humid climates all day long. While red iron depends on that primer layer staying intact, which could be tough during construction. This is where the engineering truth hits home. In 2026, we are dealing with more extreme climate patterns like hurricanes and stricter local seismic codes. Rigid frames, which red iron is a rigid frame because everything is welded together, are incredibly strong, but they're not flexible. The light gauge systems like the cold form can sometimes perform better in earthquakes and high wind zones because they can dissipate energy without snapping and breaking. If you live in a northern climate, you need to look at the pounds per square foot. Red iron is a beast for heavy snow, but it's also a heavier structure overall, requiring a much beefy and expensive concrete foundation. If you're planning a mezzanine or a full second floor living quarter, red iron is superior. It handles the weight of a second floor with fewer support beams than the cold form systems would require. And finally, let's talk about money because that's very important, right? You have to calculate the total cost of ownership. Cold form kits are usually cheaper to ship and faster to erect, saving you massive labor costs early on. Some insurance companies view red iron as commercial grade, which can sometimes, but though not always, lead to better premiums, insurance premiums. It comes down to this. What is your personal labor capacity? If you want to put in the sweat equity and save 30 grand in labor, go cold formed. But if you want a multi-generational legacy structure with massive architectural spans, and I'm talking about massive, you can go 60, 70 feet wide, like it's crazy. You need to go with red iron. You also need to budget for a professional crew. You're not building a red iron yourself unless you're an iron worker. So which one are you leaning towards? Are you going red iron or are you going cold form steel? Let me know in the comments below, and let's get building. Thank you for watching. If you're in the middle of a build, hit that subscribe button because we've got a lot more deep dives into the barn world coming. See you guys next time.